Move on, Linda.
OK, that'll do.
Did you bring the strong room receipt? Okay.
You better get back. Now, Tony, go.
Come on! Wait, no! Stop that, I say! Now be careful, my dear. Now, come and sit down. I'll look after you. You've got nothing...
Get off me, you old fool!
Magnificent.
What are you looking for, Joyce?
My brushes.
Well, isn't that them?
What? Where?
Behind you.
Where?
In your bag.
Oh! Oh, yes.
You all right?
Well, it's my first day. I'm a bit nervous.
Joyce is only the Causton Watercolour Society. What are you going to be nervous about?
Thanks.
Well, you know what I mean. Anyway, you're going to spend a lovely day in picturesque Midsummer Flory.
I suppose you're going to tell me there's been some grisly murder there.
No, I'm not. As far as I know, Midsummer Flory is a haven of tranquility.
Now then, everybody, this lovely lady is Joyce, our new member. So let's do all we can to make her feel welcome. And this is Midsummer Flory. Now, you're probably thinking, what is old Barrett Philby up to now? This gorgeous place has been painted and photographed to death. How on earth can we find a fresh way of looking at it? Well, that is the challenge, my lovelies. Coming up with your own unique interpretation. Mr. Pinckney. Now, find yourselves a spot, and I'll be round to have a word before you start.
But surely you can see my position. Barnaby, isn't it? Oh, thank God. Perhaps now I can get some sense out of you. Major Teal. The golf club. You were a guest at the Jubilee dinner.
Oh, yes. I remember that well. So, Major Teal, what can I do for you? Come in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Barrett, I thought I concentrate on one small area today, like over there, where my house is.
You follow your instincts, Anne, my darling.
Are we supposed to do a pencil sketch first?
If that's what turns you on, Alan, old mate.
Would a 2B pencil be suitable?
We've decided to work in gouache today.
Jolly good show, Mrs. B.
Hello, I'm Tessa Hawksley. Oh, Joyce Barnaby. Coming here was all Anne Carter's idea, I bet, so she could show off her house. And it's not going to be in my painting, I can tell you that. Do you live here? God, no. We couldn't afford it.
So naturally, I went to the woman's aid. What did she do? Hurled me to the ground, called me all the names under the sun, and ran me over.
She ran you over?
Well, she came very close. It was a damn near thing. Poor woman, she was probably in shock. She was extraordinarily handsome, as it happens.
Yeah, well, there seems to have been a spate of these bag snatchers in the midsummer villages, Major Teal. In fact, we set up a special operation to deal with it. Operation Pond Life. In you go. And this is Sergeant Troy, who's in charge of Operation Pond Life. Major Teal, Sergeant Troy. Major Teal witnessed a bag snatching yesterday.
Oh, sir, I've got its paperwork.
Take a statement for me, please.
Oh, but...
Yeah, a detailed statement. Now, if you'll excuse me, Major Teal, I've got a business meeting to attend.
Of course, yeah. Surely you're too young to be a sergeant.
They're making my husband take early retirement, you see. Well, what does he do? Colin's the manager of the local bank. Oh, they're closing it down, of course. It's going to be a wine bar. Quite appropriate, really, seeing as Colin's taken to drink.
Oh dear.
Does yours?
Does my what?
Does your husband drink?
Well, no, he...
Most of them do, you know. It's the only pleasure left to men of a certain age. Well, I'm going to park myself here. Nice talking to you, Joyce.
You can't go there.
Oh, you made me jump.
That's my place.
Sorry?
I've been working in this exact spot for 6 months.
Well, I'll find somewhere else.
Make sure it's well away from me. I don't want you breathing down my neck. Amateurs.
What did Major Teal have to say then?
Sounds like it was the same as the others. The scooter was stolen in Corston. 1 hour later, they grabbed this woman's bag in Midsummer Flooring. According to Teal, anyway.
What do you mean, according to Teal?
Well, the woman, whoever she was, hasn't reported the theft. Which seems pretty odd, considering she was also assaulted, according to Teal.
You stop saying that. Did you get the woman's registration number?
No. He was too busy lying in the middle of the road, admiring her ankles.
Troy, I hope you are taking Operation Pond Life seriously.
Sir, kids snatching handbags isn't really our job, is it?
Oh, yes, it is. Street crime of this kind erodes people's confidence in us. So it is important.
Sir.
Now then, Joyce, let's see what you've been up to.
I can't get the proportions right.
Oh, never mind that, my lovely. You've got to loosen up your drawing. Look. Hold the pencil near the end like this. Now relax your wrist. That's it. Let the pencil guide you, not the other way around.
Where are you going, darling?
For a walk.
A walk, darling? Where?
Oh, nowhere in particular, sweetheart. I'm just going to stretch my legs.
We'll be having lunch in the pub, Tony. Why not join us?
Super. Can't wait. And what is that supposed to be?
It's the house, darling. What do you think?
What house?
Try to be a bit more supportive, darling.
I think Anne's making real progress.
You think so, do you?
What, Ellen Barrett?
Yes. Well, I think she's definitely improving.
He's a little ray of sunshine, isn't he? I'll see you in the pub.
Yeah.
Have a nice walk, darling.
I will, sweetheart. Don't you worry. What?
Your passport photos were in that bag.
So? Look, the local police are thick as two short planks. They're not going to worry about the photos. What else was in that bag?
The camera and the binoculars and the strong room receipt.
Well, the muggers, they're not going to worry about the receipt. They're going to keep the camera and the binoculars, then just chuck the bag away. Look, it might already have been handed in. You have got to report it.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yes, I'm sure. Have you had that looked at?
You'd better get back to domestic bliss before Anne sends out a search party.
Just get the bloody receipt back, Linda.
I'm doing this for us, Tony. I hope that hasn't slipped your mind.
Yeah, everything's going to be fine. Trust me. I love you, don't I?
Morning, Tony. A lovely day.
If you say so.
We're breaking for lunch now, Joyce. Perhaps you'll join us in the Cock and Rabbit.
I'll be along in a minute.
They do a very fair ploughman's lunch.
Lovely. Yes, of course I am.
Sir, can I have a word? Sorry, Mrs. Barnaby.
Oh, go. You've both got work to do. I'll be fine. Don't worry, I'll look after her.
Thank you. Already turned up someone with a record, sir.
Who?
Barrett Philby, the artist chap. Did 8 months, told me himself. He's terrified it'll get out and ruin his reputation.
What offence?
Knocking out constables.
Sorry, Troy.
John Constable, the painter. Philby was turning out 10 a day in his garden shed. Here, sir.
Tom.
Only just noticed it. Looks like one of her brushes. Must have had it in her hand when she was attacked.
Nylon, number 9. And, George?
Stab wound in the back by the look of it, Tom. Shan't know any more till I get her on the slab.
Well, let me know when you find anything.
Will do.
You got anything on her?
Her name's Ruth Fairfax, sir. Bit of a mystery woman. She moved into the village about 6 months ago, rented a flat. Kept herself to herself. No family or friends that anyone knows about. She came down here every day to paint, rain or shine.
Well, let's go look at the flat. See if we can discover something more about Miss Fairfax.
Poor old Ruth Fairfax, eh? Who'd want to harm a nice old lady like that?
What's going on, Tony?
Well, some nuts are on the loose, I suppose.
I mean with you. You're up to something, Tony, and I want to know...
There's something I want to show you in the garden, dear. Don't ever discuss our private affairs in the house.
You know what I think, Tony? I think you made it up about the house being bugged, so you don't have to tell me anything.
Of course it's bugged. The police are watching us all the time.
It's for our own safety, Tony. In case any of your old friends find out where we are.
Oh, I've had 4 years of looking over my shoulder every minute of the day. It's just starting to get to me, that's all.
Is there something you're not telling me?
Like what?
The past few weeks you've been like a caged animal. You better not be planning to run out on me, Tony Carter.
Well, why would I do that? I love you, don't I? Everything's gonna be fine. You just trust me, hmm?
Mrs. Metcalf.
Yes?
Afternoon to you. I'm Detective Chief Inspector Barnaby. This is Detective Sergeant Troy.
I suppose this is about poor Ruth Fairfax.
Did she talk about her family?
No, she never wanted to chat. Thank God. I've got enough to do without standing around gossiping all day.
Did she have any friends in the village?
Not that I know of. Kept herself to herself. Very polite, mind you. Most of the time.
Most of the time?
Well, there was a bit of a to-do last week.
What kind of a to-do?
A pipe under her bedroom basin was leaking, so I had Mike Weatherby in to sort it out.
Mike Weatherby?
He's the local handyman. Anyway, Miss Fairfax came back early from her painting, found Mike in her bedroom, and fairly let fly at him.
Why?
She accused him of going through her things or something.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Metcalf. You can leave us to it now, if you'd be so kind. No address book by the phone. No mail. No happy family snapshots.
Just a load of pictures.
All exactly the same. Not very good either, are they?
Maybe the murderer was an art lover, sir.
I'll check a bedroom.
Sir. Sir?
Yep.
Funny looking makeup.
That's theatrical makeup, that, Troy. Stuff actors use.
Hello? Yeah, he's here. George Bullard, sir.
George, what can I do for you?
Get over here right away, Tom. There's something I want to show you.
Ah, good.
What is it?
Once you know, it's obvious.
What do you mean, once you know?
Observe. And observe this. I believe that's what's known as a fat suit in theatrical circles.
And that's theatrical makeup, isn't it?
Yes. Damn good, isn't it? And plain glass in the specs, I think. So the deceased isn't a short, dumpy old lady who needs support socks. She's a fit, attractive 30-something with a flair for disguise.
What about cause of death?
As I said, there appears to be a stab wound in the back. I haven't had a proper look at it. I wanted you to see her with a disguise first. Come back tomorrow and I'll have a better idea.
Good work. Troy.
I think we found the murder weapon, sir. A carpenter's chisel, covered in blood. Sharp too, by the look of it.
Where did you find it?
About 30 yards away in the bushes.
Oh, that's good work. You get it down forensics right away. Anyone see anything?
No, we've drawn a blank so far. 1 minute she was sitting at her easel painting away. The next, Mrs. Barnaby found her in the bushes.
Where is Mrs. Barnaby?
She's been taken home by one of the Watercolour Society people. And Mrs. Hawksley.
Hey, listen to this. It seems that Ruth Fairfax was more of a mystery lady than we realized.
How do you mean, sir?
She was a young woman of 30, expertly disguised as someone twice her age.
What?
I'll get back to the mortuary first thing tomorrow morning, see what George Bullard can tell us about that chisel. And you go back to Ruth Fairfax's flat. Take another look around. See if you can find something, anything that might tell us what she was up to.
Sir?
What about the handyman, Mike Weatherby?
Oh, I'm going to talk to him now. He's in the pub. Apparently it's his second home.
Now, tomorrow, I want all the witnesses back here on the green. We'll reconstruct all their movements down to the last detail.
Sir?
Somebody must have seen something.
Then Colin was moved to the branch in Midsummer Flory. Being sent to a backwater like that was a terrible blow to his pride. That's when the drinking started. By that time, the marriage was pretty well over already. Well, the more intimate side of it, if you get my meaning. Men of a certain age, well, alcohol just kills that off.
Oh, good. There's Tom.
Joyce! Joyce, you all right?
I'm fine.
Sure.
Mrs. Hawksley's been marvellous. There's some tea in the pot if you'd like some.
Oh, good God, no. I need a drink. Anyone join me?
It's far too early for me.
Tessa's husband is the manager of the Shire's Bank at Midsummer Flory.
Really?
Not for much longer. It's being turned into a wine bar called the Overdraft. I suppose that passes for humour in the catering business.
We're asking you back to the scene of the crime tomorrow, Mrs. Hawksley. Just to double-check the sequence of events.
Oh, that's all right. We'll be back there anyway, painting away. We're doing it for charity, so Barrett Philby wants us to soldier on.
Well, we'll try to take up not too much of your time.
Oh. Colin's volunteered to do the auction. I'm dreading it. He'll get tight and make an ass of himself, as usual. Well, nice to have met you, Chief Inspector, despite the circumstances.
And you. Thank you for looking after Joyce.
Oh.
I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, Tessa. Thanks again. I thought she'd never go. Are you sure you want another drink?
Yes. Why? George.
Good morning, Tom. What can I do for you?
Morning to you. You're going to give me some more on Ruth Fairfax?
She's gone.
What do you mean she's gone?
She was moved first thing, didn't you know?
No, I did not know. Who moved her?
The investigating officer is, let me see, Detective Inspector Mark Gudgeon.
I'm the investigating officer.
Not according to this. The paperwork was all in order, and I had a call from on high. Very on high, Tom.
But who is Mark Gudgeon? I've never heard of the fella. Where have they taken her?
I've no idea. It was all very hush-hush. Bullard. Yes, I'll tell him. That was Sergeant Troy. Wants you to go round to Ruth Fairfax's flat. Says it's urgent.
Sir, you're not going to believe this.
And the bedroom?
The same, sir. Not a trace of Ruth Fairfax left.
I didn't know what to do.
Oh, it's okay, Mrs. Metcalfe. It's not your fault.
Who was it?
D.S. Noland and a D.C. Backley, acting on the orders of Detective Inspector Mark.
Gudgeon?
Yes, sir. Gudgeon.
I think we'd better go back to the station, Troy. Find out exactly what is going on here.
And stop worrying about getting every flipping detail right, because you're going to load up your brushes with tons of gorgeous colour and start laying down big, bold washes.
Good morning. I'm Detective Sergeant Noland. This is Detective Constable Backley. May we have your attention, please?
Troy! Yes, sir. He's here, sir. Thank you, sir.
Barnaby speaking. Yes, sir. But... Very well, sir.
What did he say?
I am no longer in charge of the investigation into Ruth Fairfax's murder, Troy.
Why not?
The fact that my wife is a possible witness might, compromise me.
Well, he's got a point there. Well, not that you would allow it to, of course, sir.
I'm being replaced by a Detective Inspector Mark Gudgeon.
Gudgeon, he's the bloke who...
Yes, he is. He's head of a special team from the National Intelligence Squad.
The National Intelligence Squad? Really?
Yes, really.
So what do we do now?
Well, you still on the case, Troy. You have to report to a Detective Sergeant Noland, Midsummer Florey.
You mean I'm working with the NIS?
Well, you'll be liaising with them, yeah.
Of course, I'd much rather be working with you, sir.
Don't worry, Troy. It's a great opportunity. Make the most of it.
Thank you.
Come in.
Hello. I'm looking for Sergeant Troy.
Oh, that's me.
I'd like to report a bag snatching.
Well, the thing is, I suppose I ought to be getting back to Midsummer Florey, sir, to liaise.
Yes, so you should, Troy. You go and liaise. Oh, I'm sorry. Please. Sit down.
Yes! And then one of them hit me in the face, so I let go of the bag.
There was a witness to that, wasn't there?
Was there?
Yes, an elderly gentleman. He says he tried to help you. But you just pushed him out of the way and drove off.
I don't remember. I was frightened and dizzy from the attack.
That probably explains why you didn't report the robbery sooner, yeah?
Yes. I was in a terrible state. I thought I might be concussed.
See the doctor?
No, not straight away. I went home. I was in shock. I just wanted to lie down.
Then did you see the doctor?
No, I felt a bit better after arrest, so in the end I didn't bother.
Of course, I understand. What was in the bag, Mrs. Tyrrell?
There were some papers from my bank which are important.
Paperwork from bank. What sort of paperwork was there?
Oh, the usual, some statements and letters and a strong room receipt.
Strong room receipt. Anything else?
No, not really. Oh, a camera.
What sort of camera?
A Polaroid. And some binoculars.
Polaroid camera and binoculars.
I'm house hunting. They come in very useful.
Oh, I see. That's what you were doing up by the wood, was it? Hunting for houses.
Yes, well... well, not exactly, no. I stopped to get a map out of the boot and... Look. I don't care about the camera and the binoculars, but the papers are important. Maybe someone's found the bag and handed it in.
Oh, won't take long to find out, will it, Mr. Tyrrell? It's a lovely part of the world.
Where?
Around Midsummer, Florida.
I wouldn't know.
Stolen property, please. I assume that's why you were house hunting in the area.
Colin, are you going to get out of the car?
It's this, damn flu. I can't seem to shake it off.
I'm sure you've got some nice medicine hidden away in the bank.
Good morning, Mr. Hawksley.
Good morning.
Mrs. Partridge, I shall be working downstairs in the strong room this morning. Do not disturb me unless absolutely necessary.
Yes, Mr. Hawksley.
Thank you.
Now then, how's my favourite student getting on?
Well, I'm quite pleased with some of my washes, Barrett.
I'm not surprised. Look at all this gorgeous, gorgeous brushwork. I could eat it up.
Could you, Barrett?
So tell me, what's this D.I. Mark Gudgeon like?
He didn't show up. We were interviewed by a DS and a DC.
Did they stage a reconstruction?
No. He just asked a lot of questions. The person they were most interested in was this handyman chap.
Mike Weatherby.
Yes, he's a bit of a boozer, according to the locals.
That's what Troy said, yeah.
The irony is, he's the one person whose movements I can be pretty sure of.
What's that?
Because of my drawing. Here. That's Mike Weatherby, working on the Carter's house.
Was you there all morning?
Yes?
And you were doing this right up the time you found Ruth Fairfax?
Yeah. The last thing I did was draw the hands on the clock. Look, it says 20 to 1, and I checked with my watch.
That's hardly enough time for Mike Weatherby to get across the green, kill her, and then get back up his ladder, is it? You told him this?
Yes, but I'd left the drawing here.
Well, you take it in tomorrow. Show them. And, Joyce, you keep your eyes open. Tell me what's going on.
I hope you're not going to interfere, Tom.
Interfere? Of course I'm not going to interfere. Morning, Troy. How's it going?
Great, sir.
You in a house to house?
Deep background, actually.
Deep background? And what might that be?
Sorry, sir, I'm not supposed to discuss the investigation with anyone outside the team.
Oh, I see. What's this D.I. Mark Gudgeon like, then?
I haven't met him yet. The boss has got a lot on his plate at the moment.
The boss, Troy?
So, what are you doing in Midsummer Flory, sir?
Operation Pond Life, Troy. Got to do something about these bag snatchings, haven't we? Just wanted to make sure we hadn't missed anything, you know. What was Mike Weatherby working on in here, then?
A leaking pipe. There, under the basin. He had to take out one of the panels at the back.
Antibiotics belonging to Angela Browning. Does that name mean anything to you?
No, not a thing.
So these were prescribed 10 days ago. Did Ruth Fairfax have any visitors recently?
No, not recently. Not ever, in fact.
You sure?
Quite sure. If she'd had visitors, I would have known about it, believe me.
Now, Barnaby.
Major Teal. The very man. Could you spare me a minute, please?
Of course. Anything to help clear up this horrible murder.
It's about the mugging you witnessed, actually. The victim reported it yesterday.
Yeah, blonde, good-looking, rather fine ankles.
Could you tell me, please, exactly where did the mugging take place?
She was parked in Leverett's Lane, up behind the wood. Drive through the village and turn right, or take the footpath across the green. It's a pleasant walk.
God, you made me jump!
So what happened?
The bag hasn't been handed in.
Are you sure, Linda?
Yes! Now let go, you're hurting me! What is the matter with you?
Nothing. It's just this Police crawling all over the village.
Yes, well, that's nothing to do with us.
How do you know? That old girl that was knocked off, there was something funny about her.
What do you mean, funny?
She has been sitting down there on the village green for 6 months staring at my house.
Tony, stop it. I hate it when you're like this.
Somebody is after me, Linda. Could be one of our lot, could be the police. I don't know which shoulder to look over anymore.
Yes, well, our lot are all safely tucked up in prison, okay? That's him. That's the copper I reported the mugging to.
That's Barnaby. You told him about the bag.
So what if I did? Tony, what are you doing?
I'm gonna sort him out.
Are you out of your mind? This is no time to go bashing policemen on the head.
Did you tell him about the strong room receipt?
Of course I did. You told me to report it.
Not to him. He is a chief inspector. And now you've got him sniffing around us.
Tony, that receipt belongs to my husband.
Hmm?
Someone hands it in. The police have got to give it to me.
Well, I better turn up soon because I am that close. That close to losing it.
What's going on? Huh? I don't know what it's all about. I'm just a painter and decorator.
Oh, yes, they charged him with murder, all right. I heard them caution him.
Why Weatherby?
Stabbed her in the back with a chisel.
Well, I'm very surprised. So am I. Hello. You missed all the excitement. They've arrested Mike Weatherby.
Yeah, I know. So I'm being driven away. You shown anyone your drawing?
Yes, first thing this morning. The detective constable.
What do you say?
He said he'd get back to me when he had a window.
A window.
Whatever that means.
Means he's not interested. Troy here.
I think I saw him going to the pub.
Same old story here. Every day.
Living hope, I suppose.
Barnaby, hey.
A bit bit.
17 days it was.
Sit down.
17.
Was it
No, it was 17 days it was.
Listen,
You
no,
won't get that
you
round
come
here, I
down.
tell you.
You come down.
You should
Yeah,
come
that'd be
round.
great.
Come round,
Brilliant.
come round.
Good
afternoon, gentlemen.
Hello, sir. This is James Nolan, Simon Backley, Detective Chief Inspector Barnaby.
Heard a lot about you, sir.
Perhaps I could buy you a drink, sir.
No, thanks, not at the minute. Could I have a word, please, Troy?
Oh, sir, how's it going on Operation, what's it called? Pond Life.
Yeah, that's it. Fine, thank you.
Good show, sir. It's very important for the community, that sort of policing.
Yes. Yes, it is.
But Joyce was watching Weatherby all the morning. She's even got a drawing of him working on the Carter's house with the clock showing 20 to 1.
Sir, the murder weapon belongs to Weatherby. He admitted it. And his prints are all over it.
Well, they would be if it's his, wouldn't they? Someone could have stolen the chisel from his van.
He's a binge drinker who goes looking for trouble when he's drunk. He spent so many nights in Causton Nick. They've named a cell after him.
His drunken scuffles outside the pub at closing time. It's a bit different from killing someone with a chisel in broad daylight, isn't it?
And he had that big bust-up with Ruth Fairfax. Apparently he's been sounding off in the pub about getting even with her.
In the pub's just pub gossip, isn't it?
Please, sir, I'm not supposed to discuss it with anyone.
Yeah, all right. Said my piece. Joyce, show Troy your drawing.
Oh, that's funny.
What's wrong?
It's gone. Look.
Are you sure the drawing was in this sketch?
Yes, of course.
Sorry, I've got a dash. Thank you anyway, Mrs. Barnaby.
Did you tell anyone else about the drawing, apart from the police?
I might have told the others.
What others?
The Watercolour Society.
Come. Ah, Troy, how's it going?
Making good progress. Nolan and Backley are interviewing Mike Weatherby. They're going to let me sit in later.
Lucky you. How about Detective Inspector Mark Gudgeon? You met him yet?
Oh, not yet, sir. He's sort of overseeing the whole operation. It's very complex.
Oh, it must be.
Oh, this is just in, sir. Some kids stole a scooter in Causton this morning and crashed it. One of them got away, but the other one's in hospital with a broken leg. Could be your bag snatchers.
Yes, it could, Troy. Thank you. Thank you very much. This could be the breakthrough I've been looking for. Oh, almost forgot. You've got to take these.
What are they, sir?
Those are Angela Browning's antibiotics. Found them in a flat.
Sorry?
Angela Browning. That's Ruth Fairfax's real name. Detective Constable Angela Browning, to be exact. 30 years old, and at the time of her death, attached to the National Intelligence Squad. Didn't your new colleagues tell you that? That's odd, isn't it? No. I'm off to the hospital. Thank you for this.
Where were you off to this morning? Another of your mysterious walks?
I had to get out. The police were all over the shop.
That's nothing to do with us. They were after Mike Weatherby.
Good job, too. Had enough of him hanging about the house every day.
Don't start that nonsense again.
It's this bloody village.
It's not the village, it's you, Tony. You're paranoid.
What if we could get out of here, Anne? Find somewhere in the sun, nobody watching us, and live even better?
And how are we going to do that?
Just answer the question.
Oh, Tony. You haven't found it. You haven't found the money.
Keep it down, for crying out loud.
I knew you were up to something.
Well, it's not done and dusted yet. We've got to keep our heads down. Be very, very careful.
This is fantastic.
Now, what did I tell you? Hold that thought.
Great. Now, I'm all for a bit of adventure. You know I am. But you're getting a teensy bit slapdash, my lovely.
Oh, I'm sorry, Barrett. It's because I'm so excited.
And what's got you so hot and bothered, I wonder?
I think he's found it.
What? You sure?
No, he hasn't got it yet. But he knows where it is. What is it you're always saying to me, Barrett?
Carpe diem, my lovely. Seize the day.
Right. So, we'd better be ready.
Yes. Might I suggest the south of France? We can follow in the footsteps of Matisse and Picasso.
Oh, to hell with art, Barrett. I want you all for myself. And I don't just mean for painting lessons.
Who are you?
I'm Detective Chief Inspector Barnaby, Jason.
I didn't know the bike was stolen.
Oh, come on, Jason. I'm not here about a stolen scooter.
You're not?
No, I'm not. When you snatched that bag from that woman in that lane, you made a big mistake, Jason. Because you hit her. And that puts you in a different league. That is robbery with violence. You've never been to prison, have you, Jason?
Richie hit her, not me. She wouldn't let go of the bag, so he whacked her.
Thank you, Jason. That's very helpful.
I didn't hit her.
There's one more thing you can do for me. That bag you stole. What do you do with it?
WPC Smith leaves the room. Interview recommences 16:51.
Mr. Weatherby, tell us about the argument you had with Ruth Fairfax.
Shouldn't my solicitor be here?
He's on his way. You don't have to answer any questions if you don't want to.
Look, Mrs. Metcalfe let me in the flat to repair a pipe in the bedroom. Then Ruth Fairfax turns up and starts shouting the odds.
What did she say exactly?
She accused me of being a thief. Bloody cheek of a woman.
She upset you?
Too right she did.
You were drinking in the Cock and Rabbit that night. Witnesses heard you talking about how you were going to put Ruth Fairfax right. What did you mean by that?
Well, I reckon she owed me an apology. That's what I meant. I've been called lots of things, but I'm not a thief and I'm not a bloody murderer neither.
Mike, how long have you been working at the Carter's house?
10 days or so.
And you always parked your van outside the house?
Yeah.
Ever leave it unlocked, Mike?
Probably, yeah.
Interview terminated by DC Buckley at 16:53 hours.
What are you playing at?
I'm worried about the chisel. You left the van unlocked. Somebody could have
You're here as an observer, Sergeant. I will not have you undermining a carefully planned interview. Now get out! Please.
looking for clues, Barnaby?
This document has the name of this branch on it, Mr. Hawksley. I was wondering if you're able to tell me what it is.
Yes, it's a receipt for an item deposited in our strong room. Funnily enough, I've been trying to contact Mr. Tyrrell.
Why's that?
This branch is closing down, Inspector. Mrs. Partridge, Mr. Miller, and myself. We find ourselves surplus to requirements. Yes, Mr. Maflore will no longer have its own bag. Instead, it will have a wine bar serving cocktails and an eclectic Pacific cuisine.
Now then, Mr. Hawksley, deep breaths.
Thank you, Mrs. Partridge, thank you. So, we've been notifying depositors that they must remove their possessions from our strong room by the end of the week.
And Mr. Tyrrell hasn't responded?
No, he hasn't. Well, perhaps he's moved or forgotten. You'd be surprised how many people do. Though I am rather baffled in this case.
Why? Why's that?
The item in question is rather large. There it is. Early Victorian. I'm not very good at furniture.
It's locked, presumably.
Oh, yes.
You got a key?
No, that would remain with the owner.
Oh, Mr. Hawksley, thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes, would you mind letting yourself out? I've got some work to finish off down here.
No, certainly. Thank you again.
Pleasure.
Inspector Barnaby?
Come in. Mrs. Tyrrell, thank you for dropping by. Take a seat. I think we recovered your bag.
Thank God!
The camera and the binoculars, I'm afraid, were gone. But this was in it.
Yes, that's the paperwork I was worried about. What a relief.
And there were these.
They were in my bag?
Yes, they were, Mrs. Tyrrell.
Well, they're not mine.
Are you sure? After all, you did have a Polaroid camera.
I've never seen that man before in my life.
Well, his name is Tony Carter. It's quite a coincidence, really.
What is?
Well, Tony Carter lives in Midsummer Flory, where you were mugged. And where your husband keeps property stored in the strong room of the local bank.
Are you making some sort of insinuation?
No. I'm merely pointing out an unexpected connection.
Well, there is no connection. So forget it. Can I have my things back now, please?
Not quite yet, Mrs. Tyrrell. You see, this is evidence. Strictly speaking, this document belongs to your husband. Would he be able, do you think, to come in and identify it?
No. He's out of the country.
He's out of the country, oh, damn. Still, there's no need to worry. I've contacted the bank manager.
Why did you do that?
Well, to make sure that your husband's property is safe. The thieves might have tried to claim it with this. And we wouldn't want that to happen, would we, Mrs. Tyrrell?
No, we wouldn't.
So I said to Barnaby, Barnaby, I said, if I was you, I'd have a look in the wood near the lay-by. Sure enough, that's where he found the bag.
You should have been a detective, Godfrey, old pal.
Exactly what Barnaby says.
I just overheard Barnaby's found the bag. Two guys at the bar, so... Not now, Troy.
This won't take a minute.
Look, if this is about Mike Weatherby's chisel...
No, it's about Angela Browning.
What did you say?
That was Ruth Fairfax's real name, wasn't it? She was a DC in the National Intelligence Squad.
How the hell did you find that out?
All right, Simon. Listen to me, Troy. If you repeat that to anyone, you're out of a job.
As far as you're concerned, the victim was a 60-year-old woman called Ruth Fairfax.
We deal with these things in our own way. No outsiders. That's the way D.I. Gudgeon likes it.
In other words, you don't trust me?
Is there any way I can put this kindly, Simon?
No, James, there isn't.
Mr. Gudgeon would not jeopardise a long and complex operation by spilling the beans to a flat-footed country copper.
Harsh, but true.
So here's what I want you to do, Gavin. Keep your mouth shut and go back to chasing purse snatchers. I don't think you're cut out for the NIS.
You're right. I'm not. Sorry to bother you, sir. Have you got a moment?
Of course I have. Come in.
Thanks. They didn't question Mike Weatherby about the chisel. And then I found out his solicitor had been there all the time. They sent him to the wrong interview room. I couldn't let it go. I had to say something.
Good for you, Troy. Good for you. This face ring a bell?
It's Tony Carter.
Actually, it used to be Tony Mayhew.
Used to be?
Yeah, before he entered the witness protection scheme. Do you remember the Rugley Edge job? Massive robbery, Heathrow, 5 years ago.
Yeah, they got away with 20 million in cash.
Yeah. Well, that was Carter and his friends. Carter was arrested, but he made a deal. He gave evidence against his accomplices, and in return he got himself a new name and new life.
In Midsummer Flory?
In Midsummer Flory. Which brings us very neatly into the bag snatching in Leverett's Lane.
What's that got to do with it?
Carter's right-hand man, partner in crime and long-time friend, was one Keith Tyrrell.
The woman who was robbed, her name is Linda Tyrrell.
It's Keith Tyrrell's wife.
And these photos were in her bag?
Passport photographs, I'd guess. So while her husband serves 15 years for armed robbery, Linda's helping the man who put him away to get a new passport. Now why? Why is that, I wonder?
Wait a minute. Not all the money was recovered, was it?
£5 million unaccounted for, Troy. Keith Tyrrell's share, as rumour has it. And Keith Tyrrell stored a rather large piece of furniture in the strong room of the local bank. And the receipt for that was in Linda Tyrrell's holdall when he was snatched.
Angela Browning must have found out about the money. So Tony Carter killed her.
Well, that would be very convenient, wouldn't it? Unfortunately, Godfrey Teal saw Tony Carter in the woods half a mile away at the time Ruth Fairfax was being murdered.
Tom! I'm home.
How did it go?
Marvellous, actually. Everything just sort of clicked. Look.
It's very atmospheric.
Who's this?
Oh, Alan Pinkney.
Why has he got huge whiskers growing out of his ears?
They're paintbrushes. He's always got brushes behind his ears.
These trees are very good, Mrs. Barnaby.
They're clouds, Gavin.
Can I see your brushes, please, Joyce? Thank you. Artist brush, number 8, pure sable. The brush found under the body, that had a brown shaft, didn't it?
Yeah, and the brush bit was made of nylon.
Well, most people use sable.
You see, we'd assumed the brush was Ruth Fairfax's, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was the murderer's.
If you were creeping up on someone with the intention of stabbing them with a chisel, you wouldn't take a paintbrush with you.
Not if you got it stuck behind your ear, you've forgotten it was there. Joyce, was Alan Pinckney, was he sitting in front of you all the week?
No, only today. Before that, he was...
Where was he?
Oh, I'm trying to remember.
You had to move from the first spot you chose because Ruth Fairfax appeared from nowhere, yeah?
You can't go there.
Oh, you made me jump.
That's my place.
Sorry?
So you moved a few yards away to the north end of the green.
Yes. Yes, I had a good view. I could see the others. And I could see Ruth Fairfax in the other direction. Alan Pinckney was near her. But I couldn't really see him because there was a tree in the way.
You couldn't see him at all?
Only if I leant back in my chair. Oh, I'd forgotten that. I'm sorry, Tom.
There's no need to be, Joyce. You've been a great help. What do we know about Alan Pinckney?
Not much. Unemployed. No criminal record. Lives in Corson.
See, the brush found under the body. I want to be absolutely sure it isn't Ruth Fairfax's.
Gudgeon won't like us poking around his evidence, sir.
We can make an early start. You'd never know.
Anne! Over here!
What about the money?
The money is going nowhere as long as I've got the strong room receipt.
It's good to be back to normal, sir. I'm sorry about the last few days.
Got nothing to be sorry for, Troy. See you first thing.
Sure.
Barnaby knows who you are by now. And me, for that matter. Which means, yes, that he has guessed what's in the bank.
Yeah, all right. I'm sorry, Tony.
We're better off without the receipt. As long as Barnaby's got it, he'll think the money's safe.
So how do we get it?
We make a withdrawal. The old-fashioned way.
Hero painting, sir.
Yes, sir.
The paintbrushes must be around here somewhere.
It looks like Tony Carter was signalling to Linda Tyrrell up there in the woods. Looks like it was based on whether the curtains were open or closed. Angela Browning must have worked it out.
Here they are. Black shafts, pure sable. Except this one. Just shoved in with the rest of them. It's typical of the way this investigation is being run. The NIS, they're supposed to be the elite. It's just a shambles.
Well, that's what you get when your boss is never about, isn't it?
Yes. Famous D.I. Gudgeon. I still haven't met the bloke. He's always in a meeting. I'll take this to forensics, see if I can get Alan Pinckney's fingerprints. Sir?
Yeah, you get it to forensics. I'll go and have a chat with Alan Pinckney.
Now then, lovely people, this is our last day in gorgeous Midsummer Florrie, so let's make the most of it. Don't forget the charity auction. We want people falling over themselves to buy your masterpieces. So let's see your very, very best work.
We'll just get down there as soon as we can. Linda Tyrrell, Troy. Name ring a bell?
Linda Tyrrell,
Come on, Troy. Her bag was snatched near Midsummer Florrie. We believe the bag's been found.
Linda Tyrrell is ring-fenced, Troy.
Ring-fenced?
Meaning she is the subject of an NIS investigation. Anything to do with her comes straight back to us.
There was a document found in that bag. I'm asking you to hand it over.
A document? You mean like a piece of paper?
Don't annoy me, Troy!
Sorry, but you have to spell these things out for us country coppers.
Let him have it, Troy.
Really, sir?
That's more like it.
I don't believe I invited you to sit in my seat, Sergeant.
Thank you, sir. Excuse me. Thank you for your cooperation. Thank you, sir.
I thought you were going after Alan Pinckney, sir.
I heard those two were looking for me. I guess they wanted the strong room receipt.
Why?
Remember you saying earlier that this investigation was a shambles?
Well, it is.
Well, maybe that's the way Gudgeon wants it.
Not with you, sir.
Policemen like money too, Troy. And bank opens in half an hour. I'll go straight there. You take that brush to the lab and track down Pinckney.
Shall I arrest him, sir?
No, not yet. Try and get a look at his brushes. See if they're like that one. And then just have to wait for the lab results. You've got to get this right, Troy. We'll end up directing traffic.
That's interesting.
You think so?
Yeah. But good isn't the word.
Very kind of you to say so.
He should have left ages ago. He's up to something. I'm going to have a look.
Look, for heaven's sake, don't do anything to annoy him.
Mr. Hawksley, it's Chief Inspector Barnaby to see you.
1 minute.
Can I help you, sir?
I hope so. For your sake.
We have reason to believe it contains a large quantity of stolen money.
No. Are you sure?
Oh, yes.
Mr. Hawksley, could you open the door? It's rather urgent.
Excuse me.
Sorry, Mr. Hawksley.
Nobody talks except me. Now there is the key. Open it up. Bin bags, in there. You take them out, take the money, and fill up the bin bags. Couldn't be easier. Well, you help them out, Barnaby, and I might decide not to kill you.
morning, dear lady. I thought the car looked familiar, even though I last saw it from a prone position.
What do you want?
Don't you recognize me?
What's that? The fire alarm. The fire brigade will come if we don't turn it off.
Shall I do it for you? The switch is just outside the door.
Stay where you are. I'll do it. Yeah, keep working.
Arrest and caution. Mr. Carter or Mr. Mayhew or whatever his name is. Mr. Hawksley! I'd be grateful if you get the bank back to some semblance of normality as soon as possible, okay?
Certainly.
To tell you the truth, I'm fatally drawn to the dark side, where women are concerned. Perhaps you join me in a glass of sherry, in the Cock and Rabbit.
Will you please just go away?
No, I know you don't really mean that. Ah, dear Mrs. Carter, what a lovely surprise. Midsummer Flurry is crawling with beautiful women today.
Godfrey, have you seen my husband?
I believe I saw him popping into the bank. It's too late for him to open an account, you know. The bank's closing.
Linda Tyrrell! Now I understand. You couldn't leave him alone, could you? He was just using you, Linda, to get at the money. Just you wait and see. I am the one that's going to be spending it.
Oh, so you two know each other. Oh, that's marvellous. Why don't we all go for a little tincture?
Just for once, Godfrey, mind your own damn business.
Good morning. I'd like to withdraw some property
From your strong room.
Thank you, Mrs. Partridge. I'll deal with this. There it is.
Thank you, Mr. Hawksley. We'll take it from here. Thank you, sir.
Sorry. Thank you.
£5 mil, James.
Key.
Oh, sorry, Hawksley must have it. I'll go get it.
Oh, thank God you're here.
What the hell do you want?
There's £5 million in that thing.
The unrecovered proceeds of an armed robbery in there.
We are aware of that. That's why we're here, to recover it.
Well, that's a terrific relief. As you can imagine, we're not used to dealing with such vast sums hereabouts.
Yes, I can imagine.
Well, there's no need to get stressed, sir. This is an NIS matter now. We'll take care of it.
Hey, you better have the keys. There you go.
Oh, thank you. Kindly, sir.
Well, let's get cracking. Oh, thank you, Inspector. We shan't be needing you.
There is one thing.
What's that?
Well, as I say, this is slightly out of our league, so if we could have some sort of authorization from D.I. Gudgeon before you remove all that money, just in case.
He's very busy.
In a meeting, is he?
What was that?
Oh, I asked Mr. Hawksley to secure the strong room.
Just in case. Someone tried to steal the money at gunpoint half an hour ago.
You mean we're locked in?
Oh, don't worry. There's enough oxygen to last 24 hours. Mr. Hawksley will unlock the door when your D.I. Gudgeon shows up.
Detective Inspector Gudgeon.
What's the problem?
He's not Gudgeon.
Oh, yes, he is.
Barnaby, how dare you obstruct NIS officers?
Let's not talk about the NIS. Let's talk about paintbrushes. Forget it was there, did you? That's an easy mistake to make.
I think you should know, Barnaby, that I have a very good working relationship with your chief constable.
Not for much longer, sir.
You see, this brush is identical to the one found under Angela Browning's body. Your brush, Gudgeon, which you dislodged from behind your ear when you stabbed her with Mike Weatherby's chisel.
Simon, James, this is all nonsense. Get on with packing the money.
We'll be getting the prints back from the lab in an hour.
There was a brown brush in with the others. I thought it was Angela's.
Detective Constable Angela Browning. Yes, she did a good job. She found out about Tony Carter and Linda Tyrrell. And the strong room receipt. The only problem was she was straight. Which meant she had to go. Didn't she, Gudgeon?
No violence. You said no violence!
Just wait a minute.
Kill one of your own, you bastard! All right.
Troy, get some backup and caution them.
All right.
How did you know Pinkney was Gudgeon, sir?
Well, I'd assumed that Pinkney was working with Gudgeon. But then why would Gudgeon trust a civilian non-entity like Pinkney? It only made sense if they were one and the same person.
Flat-footed country coppers, indeed. I wish every arrest was as enjoyable as this, sir.
Hello? Colin?
Hello, Barrett.
I was wondering, do you know where Ann Carter is?
Went off to the police station with her husband.
Oh.
Turns out he was a bank robber called Tony Mayhew. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. Thanks.
£5 million in cash. I've been sitting inches away from £5 million in cash for 4 years. You've no idea what it's like to be so close to so much money.
Actually, I have. Whose is that?
What?
Good God!
What?
It's a linen press. 19th century. Made, if I'm not mistaken, by Joseph Wilkinson. I read up on furniture while I was inside. While I was at art school.
Well, you think it's worth something?
A small fortune, old chum. A small fortune.
I've bid £20 for this delightful study of N. cottages. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, it's all in a good cause. Who'll go to 25? £25. Let's hear for £25. Anybody for £25?
So, Alan Pinkney, Mark Gudgeon, was the murderer.
Certainly was. His prints were on the brush.
And you recovered all that money.
I did.
Well done, Tom.
Barnaby. No news of Linda Tyrrell, I suppose.
I'm afraid not, Major. She seems to have disappeared without trace.
She's probably sunning her magnificent ankles in foreign climes.
Charles Saatchi,
Such is life.
Be a really good investment. On your wall, £40. Well, I'm £40. £40.
Hello, Joyce.
Who's the 45?
Tessa, how lovely to see you. You look marvellous. Thanks. Things have turned out rather well, actually. Oh, I'm so glad. Colin inherited a family heirloom. It turned out to be surprisingly valuable. How marvellous.
£50.
Good. Yes, Barrett.
My two favourite lovely ladies. Will you excuse me, Joyce, if I steal Tessa away? We have to discuss the Society's plans for next year.
Sold to you, Vicar. Right. Lot 17.
Oh, the next painting's mine.
By Joyce Barnaby.
What if no one makes a bid?
Well, who'll start me on £20? £20! Come on. £20. Well, £10 then. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Inspector Barnaby. Right, who'll get a 15? £15.
£100.
£100 I'm bid. Well done, Major Teal. That's more like it. Now, who'll go to £150? Someone, surely. Come on, £150. Someone.